Mums and dads should take up parenting classes as part of their normal lives and should even aspire to it, according to the Prime Minister. How to discipline their children would be a major part of that. David Cameron said, of course, children don't come with a manual, but is it right that all of us get so little guidance? We all need more help with this, the most important job we will ever have. So I have to believe we now need to think about how to make it normal, even aspirational, to attend parenting classes. Well, the parenting expert Elizabeth O'Shea joins us now from Horsham in West Sussex. Very good afternoon to you. Can it be aspirational for us to attend parenting classes, do you think, or is that unrealistic?
No, I think it's a really good idea. I think the problem is a lot of people think that parenting classes are just for parents who are bad parents or who can't deal very well with their children. And actually everybody benefits from parenting classes. It's lovely, it's a great thing to do. People learn a lot. And I think it's almost like, I think there was a quote by Michael Levine who said that having children makes you no more a parent than having a piano makes you a pianist. It's actually about learning the skills that make you a really good parent.
I think there's a danger, perhaps, that some would feel that they were being dictated to, that this is the nanny state interfering in just yet another level of their lives.
That, in a way, is true. I can understand why people would feel that, but when you think about it, when you start a new job, you get training, and nobody objects to that. When you have children, you don't always know the right things to do. So it's really useful to have some training, as David Cameron said, for that most important job you'll ever do when children don't come with a manual.
David Cameron's made the point that he wants these classes to be available to all, not just those who are from more deprived backgrounds, lower socio-economic backgrounds. What kind of people come to you for help?
Normally, by the time they get to a parenting expert like myself, they would be coming because things have got really bad. And I think the nice thing is when you have a universal provision of parenting classes, it means that they don't have to wait till that point. They don't have to wait for 6 years before their child is sleeping through the night. They don't have to wait until their child has gone off the rails and they're trying to pull things back. They can actually have the kind of education which helps them play with their children, learn to discipline their children, learn to be firm, and have the relationship that puts the structure in so that the child turns out to be the way they want that child to be, rather than that being accidental. And you're parenting for a purpose. You're trying to get your children to become independent, confident adults who achieve their potential. And I think that's what we're trying to achieve with parenting classes, to give parents that provision.
I suppose there are some parents who say, look, my child is an individual, there's no one-fits-all approach here. It's about not necessarily one answer for one question, I suppose, is it? It's sort of more organic and learning about a family, a certain situation. You know, are there going to be the resources for that, though?
Well, that's what the government is talking about doing, putting resources in. It's like a man walking 30 miles. If you give him a bicycle, he can do it a lot more effectively and a lot quicker. It's about giving parents the tools, not to tell them how to bring up their children, but give them the tools that enable them to bring up their children with the qualities, characteristics and values they want their children to have.
Do you think these classes should be offered from a child's birth or available, you know, up to a child 16? How do you think it should work?
I think it would be lovely if parents started off when their children were 2 or 3 with this provision of classes. But the fact is, every parent that goes to a parenting class enjoys the experience, shares the experience of other parents, so hears about how other parents are managing their children. It's not just about somebody at the front telling a parent what to do. It's about parents sharing good practice, and when there are problems, exploring solutions that work for that family. So I would say it's up to any age, and yes, possibly once you reach the age of 16, you're really tweaking things then so that the child is learning to leave home successfully and the parent can back off at that point. But right up until 16, you're really working hard with that child to make them independent, capable and able to achieve their potential.
It's open-ended, isn't it? Because every child, different ages, got different issues, and parents might need different help with different areas. So, you know, you could go to one class a week as a parent. It still wouldn't be enough for for the rest of your child's life, would it?
Well, the funny thing is, when you start doing really good practices, like praising good behaviour rather than responding to bad behaviour, when you start empathising with a child rather than bashing against them, when you start putting in the rules and the boundaries and being firm, all of those are really good ways of managing children, and they do last long term. And when you can teach parents that from a fairly early age, it lasts right the way through childhood. Parenting isn't sort of like what you do at 5 is different from what you do at 15. You just tweak it and you use different ways of talking to a child at 15 than you do at 5. But a lot of them are the same techniques, just tweaked.
OK, great advice, Elizabeth O'Shea. Thank you. Now, the US has flown a B-52